Live now, Britain's winter didn't arrive quietly. It arrived marching. From London to Leeds, Manchester to Middlesbrough, more than 100,000 people have flooded the streets across 15 cities, turning ordinary Saturdays into something far more dangerous, a nationwide revolt powered by anger, cold, and exhaustion. Banners rise through freezing air, chants echo off government buildings. Police lines stretch thin as crowds keep growing, not shrinking. This isn't one issue, it's everything at once. Cost of living, housing pressure, migration strain, public services stretched past breaking point. And at the center of it all sits Keir Starmer, facing the first true test of whether Britain is governable this winter. Because this isn't protest season, this is boiling point. Stay with us, the next few hours could change the country. 9:12 am, the first warning signs aren't the crowds, they're the trains. Stations across the country report unexpected passenger surges. Platforms fill early, staff call for backup, people aren't commuting, they're converging. 9:40 am. London starts IT outside Marble Arch, thousands gather wrapped in scarves and anger. Homemade signs, union flags, handwritten cardboard messages shaking in the cold, can't heat. Can't eat, Britain is broken. Winter is the last straw. Police form soft cordons, cooperative calm, for now. A woman in her 50s tells a reporter, "I've never protested before. But I can't afford to stay quiet anymore." That sentence repeats itself all day, in different accents, different cities. 10:15 am, the MAP TURNS red live trackers begin lighting up. Round pushbin London, 28,000 round pushbin Manchester, 14,500 round pushbin Birmingham, 12,000. 800 round pushbin Leeds, 92.0 round pushbin Liverpool, 86.0 round pushbin Sheffield, 61.0 round pushbin Newcastle, 54.0 round pushbin Nottingham, 48.0 round pushbin Bristol, 67.0 round pushbin Cardiff, 73.0 round pushbin Glasgow, 11,000. 900 round pushbin Dundee, 32.0 round pushbin Hull, 36.0 round pushbin Middlesbrough, 29.0 round pushbin Plymouth, 31.0 total crosses 100,000 before noon. No central organizer, no single slogan, that's what makes it dangerous. 11 o'clock am, the chants harden, early chants are general, hopeful, loud, unfocused, then the temperature drops, and so does patience. New chants take hold, WHOSE OUR streets, heat or eat, enough is enough. In London, a chant ripples down Oxford Street like a wave. You don't feel the cold, that one sticks, because it isn't abstract, it's personal. 11:45 am, police realize scale senior officers meet quickly near Westminster. Not panicked, but alert. One officer mutters off camera, "This is bigger than planned." Barriers are extended, mounted units brought forward. Helmets appear, still clipped, not worn. The signal is subtle but clear, we are preparing. 12:30 p.m, government scrambles inside Whitehall, screens show simultaneous aerial shots of crowds swelling. Advisors whisper. This feels like fuel protests, but everywhere. A minister texts another, "We underestimated the cold." That admission spreads fast, because everyone knows cold doesn't create anger, it releases it. 1:15 p.m. A moment that shifts the day in Manchester. A man climbs onto a bus stop roof, megaphone shaking in gloved hands. He isn't a politician, he isn't a leader, he's a delivery driver. We work, we freeze, we pay. And we're still told to wait. The crowd roars, the clip goes viral within minutes. Hashtag surge, number winter revolt, number enough is enough, number Britain marches, momentum locks in. This isn't dispersing, it's accelerating. 2 o'clock p.m, the first tension in Birmingham, a bottle flies, not aimed, just thrown. Police push forward, crowd surges back. For 20 seconds everything teeters. Then calm returns, but everyone feels it, the line is thin. 2:45 p.m, Downing Street, FALLS quiet, no statement, no press conference. Reporters gather anyway, cameras pointed at a door that stays closed. A political editor says on air, "If silence continues, the street will fill it." 3:30 p.m, Britain realizes this is different, this isn't one march. It's not one issue, it's not one afternoon, it's a signal. A signal that winter has collided with trust, affordability and patience all at once. And the streets are no longer asking politely. They're telling. As daylight fades and temperatures drop further, one question begins to dominate. What happens when night falls and nothing has changed? 4:02 p.m, the sun sinks early in December, dragging temperatures and tempers down with it. Across Britain's city centres, the crowds don't thin, they thicken. People pull hats lower, gloves tighter, portable heaters appear on pavements. Someone hands out tea from a flask in Leeds. In London, a group lights candles, not symbolic, just practical. This isn't a rally anymore, it's endurance. 4:20 p.m., police shift posture senior officers issue a quiet instruction nationwide. Move to containment. Barriers tighten, side streets close, mounted units step forward. Helmets are unclipped now, still not worn but ready. An officer in Sheffield says quietly, "We're not here to push, we're here to hold. Hold the line, hold the peace, hold the night. Because once darkness falls, crowds behave differently." 4:45 p.m. Splinter GRUPS form in Manchester. A group breaks away from the main march, heading toward a retail park. Not looters, not violent, just angry. Police intercept early, forming a cordon. Voices rise, phones record. A chant starts that spreads city to city. We freeze quietly. It's raw, it's unscripted, and it resonates. 5:10 p.m. Government still silent inside Downing Street. Advisors argue over timing. Speak now and risk inflaming crowds. Wait and risk being accused of hiding. A senior official mutters, "Every minute we wait, the street writes its own speech." But the door remains closed, and the absence is felt everywhere. 5:30 p.m. The first clash, Bristol. A narrow street, a sudden push. No weapons, no organized charge, just bodies pressing against shields as police try to redirect a crowd away from council offices. Someone slips. Someone screams, officers step in fast. It lasts 30 seconds, but the footage lasts forever. The clip spreads with one caption, "This is what desperation looks like." 6:00 p.m. The number climbs, updated estimates roll in. Bar chart 130,000 plus, nationwide, attendance growing despite cold. No sign of coordinated dispersal. Analysts note something alarming. These aren't weekend protesters. These are weekday workers. Parents, pensioners, people who don't normally march, which means they didn't come for spectacle, they came because something broke. 6:25 p.m. The PMS name becomes a chant in London. A chant cuts through the air, sharp, rhythmic, spreading fast. Where is SDAMER? It echoes off buildings near Westminster. Soon it appears in Birmingham, then Leeds, then Glasgow. Not an insult. Not a demand for resignation. A question, and questions are harder to shut down than anger. Inside No 10, aides exchange looks, because once your name becomes a chant, the crowd expects an answer. 6:50 p.m. The warning from police, a confidential briefing, leaks to press. Crowds remain peaceful but restless. Risk of disorder increases significantly after 8 p.m. if no political response is given. That sentence circulates fast. The message is clear, this has a window, and the window is closing. 7:15 p.m. Communities hold the line in Middlesbrough. Protesters form their own stewards, reflective vests, linked arms, calming voices. A woman tells Sky News, "We're angry, not stupid. This is our town." In Cardiff, protesters help police redirect traffic. In Liverpool, marchers collect rubbish as they move. This isn't chaos. It's controlled frustration, which is more dangerous because it lasts. 7:40 p.m. The Prime Minister MOVES cameras snap to life outside Downing Street. A podium is rolled into place. Word spreads instantly through crowds via phones and live streams. He's going to speak. Chants soften, movement slows, people stop marching and start watching. In this moment, Britain pauses. Because what comes next could either release pressure or shatter restraint. 8:00 p.m. The statement begins, lights glare, microphones click, and finally Keir Starmer steps forward. His face is tired, his voice measured. "I hear you. I know winter is biting hard." Crowds listen, not cheering, not shouting, just listening. He speaks of cost of living, energy bills, public services. He promises talks, reviews, measures, but he does not announce anything immediate. No emergency relief, no deadline, no concrete action. When he finishes, there is applause from inside the press pen. Outside, silence. Then slowly, disappointment settles like frost. 8:25 p.m. The crowd DCIDES in London. Someone shouts, "That's not enough." The chant returns louder now, "Enough is enough." Across Britain, the same reaction ripples, not rage, not violence. Resolve. People don't go home, they sit, they stand. They stay because the speech didn't end the revolt, it confirmed it. 9:00 p.m. A different kind of night. Police hold lines. Crowds hold ground. No fires, no riots, just tens of thousands of people refusing to disappear. A senior officer says off camera, "This is the hardest kind of protest to manage. They're not breaking rules, they're breaking assumptions." 9:45 p.m. Britain realizes this isn't over as the cold deepens. The crowds thin slightly, but not decisively. People leave in shifts, others arrive to replace them. The revolt doesn't end, it rotates. And that's when it becomes clear this isn't a day, it's a season. Winter has given Britain a deadline not written but felt. And tonight proved something vital. The streets are patient, but they are no longer passive. 10:12 p.m. The cold sharpens. Breath hangs in the air like smoke signals. And still, Britain does not go home. Across the country, what began as marches has settled into something quieter and more dangerous. Staying power, people sit on steps outside council buildings. They stand in small circles, sharing tea, phone chargers, hand warmers. In London, a crowd near Westminster wraps itself in foil blankets handed out by volunteers. This isn't a protest waiting to end, it's a protest preparing to last. 10:30 p.m. Inside government, panic sets in Whitehall. Senior advisors stare at live feeds from 15 cities. The problem is no longer disorder, it's persistence. One official says quietly, "They listened, they didn't riot, and they didn't leave." That's worse, because violence can be condemned, persistence must be answered. A briefing note circulates with a line highlighted in red. Risk of rolling demonstrations over coming weeks now high. Winter hasn't ended the revolt. It has anchored it. 11:15 p.m. Police change strategy again. Orders go out nationwide. Avoid confrontation, maintain presence. Not pressure, prevent fatigue, rotate officers. Hourly commanders understand the danger. If police push too hard, they escalate. If they pull back too far, they lose control. So they hold, frozen in place like the crowds. An officer in Leeds says, "This isn't a crowd we can push away. It's a crowd we have to outlast." 12 o'clock a.m. Midnight without ending. Midnight arrives. No fireworks, no countdown, just another hour added to the protest. In Birmingham, someone quietly starts singing not an anthem, just a song everyone knows. Others join. Phones light up, not to film but to see. This isn't rage, it's solidarity. And solidarity doesn't burn out quickly. 12:45 a.m. The Prime Minister feels it inside. No 10. Aides update Keir Starmer on the latest reality. Crowds still present. No major disorder. Public approval for protests rising, not falling. One aide says what no one wants to hear. "Your speech didn't make it worse, but it didn't make it better." Silence follows, because that means the problem isn't communication, it's substance. 1:30 a.m. The Economic Warning. Treasury officials send a late-night note. Sustained protests risk retail disruption, transport hesitation, and investor uncertainty. Not collapse, not panic, but erosion. And erosion is how governments weaken grain by grain. 2 o'clock a.m. Cities begin to adapt. Councils open warming centres near protest zones. Churches unlock doors. Local cafes donate hot water. This is not defiance. It's acceptance. Authorities quietly acknowledge this isn't ending tonight. 3 o'clock a.m. The media tone. SHIFT's coverage changes. Less urgency, more analysis. Commentators stop asking, "Will this turn violent?" They start asking, "How long can this last?" A political analyst says on air. When protests survive the night peacefully, they gain legitimacy. That sentence lands heavily in government offices. 5:30 a.m. Dawn of a new phase. The sky lightens. People wake on benches wrapped in coats. Others arrive fresh, replacing those who left to sleep. The crowd doesn't vanish, it rotates. A woman arriving with a thermos says, "They stayed all night, the least we can do is take over." This is no longer a demonstration, it's a relay. 7 o'clock a.m. Britain. WAKES to fact. Morning news shows live shots. Crowds still there, police still calm. No chaos, headlines change tone. Winter revolt enters second day. Protests hold firm as cold deepens. Government faces sustained pressure. The country realizes something important. This isn't a spike, it's a plateau. 8:30 a.m. Backbenchers get nervous. MPs check feeds before checking emails. Constituency offices report calls, not angry but firm. People say the same thing everywhere. "We're not going away." Backbench MPs understand what that means. Sustained pressure doesn't just hit government, it hits careers. 10 o'clock a.m. The word CONCSSIONS inside policy circles. Language shifts, not responses. Not statements, concessions, targeted relief, timelines, visible movement. Because now the question isn't whether the winter revolt was justified. The question is whether ignoring it will make it grow. The truth settles in by midday. Britain understands something fundamental. The streets aren't asking for spectacle. They're asking for change they can feel before spring. And they've discovered their leverage. Cold didn't scare them away. Night didn't break them. Silence didn't stop them. Winter didn't end the revolt. Britain didn't shout and go home. It stood in the cold. It stayed through the night. And it came back at dawn. This is no longer a weekend protest. It's a winter warning. A warning to Keir Starmer and to Parliament that patience has limits and silence has consequences. Will the government move from words to real relief before the cold deepens? Will concessions calm the streets or convince more cities to join? And if winter holds, who blinks first, the crowd or the cabinet? Tell us what you think happens next. Backhand index pointing down. Does this movement force